Ladies and gentlemen, we interrupt our program of dance music to bring you a special bulletin from the Intercontinental Radio News. At 20 minutes before 8 Central Time, Professor Farrell of the Mount Jennings Observatory, Chicago, Illinois, reports observing several explosions of incandescent gas occurring at regular intervals on the planet Mars. The spectroscope indicates the gas to be hydrogen and moving toward the Earth with enormous velocity. Professor Pearson of the observatory at Princeton confirms Farrell's observation and describes the phenomenon as, quote, like a jet of blue flame shot from a gun, unquote.
It's Friday, October 31st, 2025. Happy Halloween. Welcome to episode 178 of the Alameda Postcast, an audio service of the Alameda Post. I'm your host, Scott Peeler. And as is my tradition, a little bit of the famous 1938 War of the Worlds broadcast to start the program. In this edition of the Postcast, the world is heading to Alameda next year. Progress on Central Avenue. Changes in the Woodstock water shuttle schedule. A city council preview. The latest real estate sales. The Island Bowl is almost here. Altarena Playhouse presents another classic. And activities for your Halloween weekend. These stories and more on this episode of the Alameda Postcast. Our top story. Back in episode 163 in July, I reported that the City Council had unanimously passed a transient occupancy or hotel tax sharing agreement to help the Oakland Roots and Oakland Soul bring their Bay Farm training facility up to World Cup standards in hopes of attracting FIFA, soccer's governing body, to name the site as a team base camp for World Cup 2026. FIFA did name the site as a team base camp. The $150,000 is expected to be covered by an increase in transit occupancy tax collection, which is expected to rise due to an influx of visitors during the tournament. There are 6 World Cup matches scheduled for Levi's Stadium, 5 during group play in June, and 1 match on July 1st in the round of 32. A team base camp tends to attract fans of the club to attend practices, so it won't just be folks staying in Alameda to head down to Santa Clara. FIFA estimates a team base camp can attract 60 to 80,000 visitors. As far as which team will call Bay Farm home, that will be decided on the final draw on December 5th. This is the first World Cup that will feature 48 teams instead of the 32-team field that has been in place since 1998. The U.S., Canada, and Mexico are guaranteed spots in the tourney as host countries. The qualification process has already begun with 25 teams making the cut. That means 20 slots have yet to be determined. The story at alamedapost.com/news. Central Avenue is progressing. Two-way traffic has resumed along the stretch of Central between Lincoln and 5th in front of Encinal Junior and Senior High School and Payden Elementary, now that the construction work is mostly complete in that area, according to the latest update from the City of Alameda. However, one-way northbound-only traffic still in effect along Central Avenue between Lincoln and Pacific Main Street. Stage 3 construction has now begun, involving temporarily closing the Central Pacific Main intersection while the roundabout is built. Additionally, starting November 3rd, Slurry Seal, a mixture of water, asphalt emulsion, crushed rock aggregate, and additives will be applied to existing asphalt pavement on Central between Webster and Sherman. Residents and businesses directly impacted by the Slurry Seal will be contacted directly with more information. Slurry Seal is essentially a low-cost coating that extends the life of existing pavement. If you grew up in snow country, you might remember seal coating your driveway. Same basic concept. Full project update, including a map of current traffic patterns and tips on navigating your way around at alamedapost.com/news. More transportation changes. The Oakland-Alameda Water Shuttle, commonly known as Woodstock, will switch to a new winter schedule starting Tuesday the 4th. Tuesday service, which started in July, was very popular, so the shuttle will continue to operate 6 days a week, Tuesday through Sunday. Hours of service will be shortened on weekends to reflect seasonal changes in weather and daylight. The new schedule will be in place through early March of 26, when expanded weekend hours are expected to be launched. The basics of the changes: Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday remains the same. Friday, Saturday, and Sunday service will run between 8 a.m. and 8:30 p.m. For the full story, including the complete schedule and ways you can provide your feedback, head to alamedapost.com/news. On November 4th, City Council will hold a public workshop to discuss infrastructure and facilities needs for libraries, city parks, and recreation facilities. Council will also hear a state legislative update from State Senator Jesse Arreguín and consider an appointment to the Commission on Persons with Disabilities. The meeting will focus both on existing and planned recreation and parks and library facilities. The Alameda Recreation and Parks Department alone has over $200 million in unmet needs. While new parks have been added in recent years, many of the city's 35 parks and 27 recreation facilities are operating beyond their intended lifespans, with aging buildings, outdated irrigation, worn playgrounds, and deferred maintenance that threaten safety, accessibility, and overall community enjoyment. Unfunded projects include D-Pave Park, Seaplane Lagoon Phases 2 and 3, completion of Gene Sweeney, a regional sports complex, and Enterprise Park. The Alameda Free Library System is also seeking investment to meet growing community demand. Visitation increased 16%, program attendance up 19% in fiscal 24-25. Projects include expanding Bay Farm Island Library, that will be $5 to $10 million for dedicated event and study spaces. A new Alameda Point branch, that could be $500,000 to $20 million, depending on whether they use mobile services or build a new building. Renovating the main library to the tune of $5 million to add a library of things, tools, cookware, etc., a makerspace, and expanded children's area. Recent voter survey indicates support for addressing infrastructure funding. In June of 24, 64% of Alameda voters expressed a need for additional funding. 68% showed initial support for an infrastructure bond. For details on how you can participate in Tuesday's meeting, see Karen Jensen's article at alamedapost.com/news. As we do every 2 weeks, a look at the latest residential real estate sales, courtesy of Realtor Liz Rush. From October 14th to the 27th, 20 properties changed hands, busier than usual on Bay Farm, with 8 properties closing there. Sales prices range from $750,000 to $3,410,000. For the first time since we've been covering these sales, the average time from listing until offer has crept above a month, with those 20 homes averaging 33 and a half days. Full details in Liz Rush's article at alamedapost.com/real-estate. Next Friday, the Island Bowl is upon us as Alameda and Encinal square off for the 70th time in the series. The Hornets will look to make it 3 in a row over the Jets. On paper, it looks like they've got a good shot at it. As of recording time, AHS sported a 7-1 record, while Encinal has gone 2-6 on this campaign. But as they say, that's why they play the game. The game will be at Thompson Field on Walnut Street, but you can also watch a live stream of the game in the Historic Theater at Alameda Theater and Cineplex. Tickets are $10. Proceeds benefit both AHS and EHS booster clubs. Altarena Playhouse brings down the curtain on their 2025 season with a true classic, The Wisdom of Eve by Mary Orr. The 1946 short story originally appeared in Cosmopolitan magazine and was turned into a radio drama before becoming the basis for the 1950 classic film All About Eve. If Mary Orr's name is unfamiliar, it's because she received no screen credit when 20th Century Fox purchased the rights to the story. She has subsequently been credited as creator. Our own Gene Kahane took in the show, directed by Kimberly Ridgway. Find his review, along with pictures, at alamedapost.com/arts. Show runs through Sunday, November 23rd. Lots going on this Halloween weekend. Amanda Laird has curated the best of the bunch in her weekly All Around Alameda column. Remember, no school for the kids on Friday. Head to the Park Street District from 1 to 5 on Friday for downtown Alameda's trick-or-treating. Look for the We Have Candy window signs. West Alameda Business Association invites pets, their owners, and Halloween enthusiasts to the Howl-O-Ween Pet Parade on Friday from 4 to 6:30. That's at Webster Park. If you're looking to turn off your porch light and party all night, check out the 5th annual Bollywood Masquerade Party Balloween Ball Cruise. Board the boat at 2394 Mariner Square beginning at 8:30. Be prepared to party till midnight. Saturday, leave Halloween in the rearview mirror for the 45th annual Alameda Holiday Boutique, Saturday and Sunday from 10 to 4 at the O Club. Also on Saturday, the California Historical Radio Society invites you to a special screening of KCSM, 60 Years of Broadcasting and Jazz, at the Alameda Theater and Cineplex. I hope to see you there beginning at 2 p.m. Speaking of KCSM, hope you got a chance to tune into the Alameda Connection this past Sunday the 26th for my conversation with Post publisher Adam Gillett. If you missed it, you can find it in podcast form on Apple, Amazon, or Spotify, as well as my YouTube channel. This Sunday morning at 8, Jennifer Radakovich, the Executive Director of Rhythmics Cultural Works. Remember that right now, many of your neighbors are going to be directly affected by the ongoing government shutdown, especially with the administration's refusal to tap billions in contingency funds set aside for exactly this kind of situation. That means millions who depend on programs like CalFresh are now facing increased food insecurity. The Alameda Food Bank needs your help more than ever. Support them however you can, including donating via the QR codes you'll find around town as part of Alameda Haunts. Find us on all the usual social media platforms, and get the Postcast wherever you get your podcasts. I'm Scott Peeler, back next Friday with episode 179 of the Alameda Postcast, and as I do every Halloween, I'll let Orson Welles have the last word.
So goodbye, everybody, and remember, please, for the next day or so, the terrible lesson you learned tonight. That grinning, glowing, globular invader of your living room is an inhabitant of the pumpkin patch, and if your doorbell rings and nobody's there, that was no Martian, it's Halloween.